that Aishwarya Rai Bachchan and her daughter Aradhya have now been admitted at the Nanavati hospital. This after they developed mild symptoms.
Just mild symptoms that the mother and daughter have developed, and it's not critical. There is nothing to worry about. And the same is the case as far as Amitabh Bachchan as well as Abhishek Bachchan is concerned.
And that, of course, is the big story that came in late last night, broken first on CNN News 18. Bollywood actress Aishwarya Rai Bachchan and her daughter Aradhya Bachchan have been admitted to Mumbai's Nanavati hospital after experiencing mild fever. Now, the 46-year-old actress tested positive last week and was placed in isolation at the Bachchan residence Jalsa, which was sealed by the BMC, as were the 3 other bungalows owned by the family. Bollywood's megastar Amitabh Bachchan and his son Abhishek, remember, are also in the Nanavati hospital after testing positive a week ago. Amitabh Bachchan's wife Jaya and daughter Shweta Nanda, along with her children, have tested negative for the virus. Let's go across to my colleague Radhika, who brought us the story late last night. Radhika, of course, the good news for the millions of fans of the Bachchan family, whether it be Amitabh, Abhishek or Aishwarya, is the fact that so far none of them, including their daughter Aradhya, are showing any symptoms to worry about. But at least this is still a concern for the Bachchan family, having 4 of the family members admitted to the Nanavati hospital.
Yes, hospital authorities continue to tell us that there is nothing to worry about and that they have only developed mild symptoms. Of course, both Aishwarya Rai Bachchan and her 8-year-old daughter Aradhya were admitted to Nanavati hospital last night. Sometime around 9 p.m. is when they got admitted after they started developing mild symptoms. Now, this is, of course, 5 days after they tested positive. It was last Sunday afternoon that both mother and daughter had tested positive. Hospital authorities tell us that they are stable, they are undergoing treatment. The treatment is along the same lines as being given to both Amitabh Bachchan as well as Abhishek Bachchan. Antiviral treatments are being given, and all the necessary precautions are being taken by the hospital as well as the BMC. Now, both of them have been admitted to isolation ward of the hospital where both Amitabh Bachchan and Abhishek Bachchan are undergoing treatment. They had in fact turned positive last Saturday night, and we had been covering that also extensively last Sunday. And now both the mother and daughter were on home quarantine for 5 days. In fact, when both mother and daughter tested positive Sunday afternoon, hospital authorities had suggested home quarantine because they had not developed any sort of symptoms. But yesterday, they started developing mild symptoms, which is when they decided to get themselves admitted. But the hospital authorities tell us their vitals are stable and they're responding to treatment. That's the information we're getting. And as far as what the BMC is doing, it had been taking all the precautionary measures or following all the protocols. Massive contact tracing after Bachchan's tested positive. Staffers were tested. Many, in fact, more than 30 had tested negative. Disinfection, sanitization of all 4 bungalows.
Radhika, very quickly, as you pointed out, it's been a week since Amitabh Bachchan and his son Abhishek were hospitalized as well. There is a lot of concern over Amitabh given the fact that his age is something that makes him a vulnerable person. Could you give many of his fans who are watching this broadcast right now an update on to how his health is a week after he has been hospitalized?
Well, his health continues to be stable. That's what the hospital authorities have been telling us, that there is no reason to worry about. In fact, Amitabh Bachchan himself had been putting regular tweets talking about his health and, thanking all his well-wishers and fans and also reiterating that he's being taken care of well. His doctors, whom we are in touch with, also continue to tell us that both Amitabh Bachchan and Abhishek Bachchan are doing well. They're responding to treatment. The vitals are stable. The line of treatment is, of course, antiviral. They are being treated for their symptoms. Currently, they are stable is something that the hospital authorities continue to tell us, and that there is nothing to worry about.
All right,
as far as
I think that's good
Aishwarya and
news.
Aradhya are concerned, they are also stable is what hospital authorities.
All right, that's I think good news for all the fans of Amitabh and Aishwarya and Abhishek who are tuning into this broadcast. Thanks a lot, Radhika, for getting us those early morning updates. Let's now switch our focus to, of course, the political drama that's been happening in Rajasthan, a state which is certainly no stranger to battles as well. The Ashok Gehlot versus Sachin Pilot tussle in the state will now resume in the High Court on Monday. The pilot camp has been given a 4-day breather in the disqualification hearing. The High Court has barred State Assembly speakers from taking any action against the rebel MLAs till Tuesday evening. Remember, last evening, drama unfolded in Manesar when the Rajasthan police, the SOG team, which is probing the alleged horse trading charges under the Gehlot government's order, reached there to record statements of the dissident MLAs of the pilot camp. Now, they were initially blocked by the Haryana police. The Rajasthan cops then were allowed to enter the resort after almost an hour. The cops were returned empty-handed after probing the hotel officials at the reception. Sources close to CNN News 18 suggest that Rahul Gandhi has asked the party leaders to be soft on Sachin Pilot and not drag his name down in the audio tape row.
अलवे साहब और रोदगी साहब के आर्ग्यूमेंट्स आज के जो हैं पिटीशन के ऊपर कंक्लूड हो गए हैं और जो सिंघवी साहब हैं वो अभी आर्ग्यूमेंट उनके चालू हो गए डॉक्टर सिंघवी के ही विल कंटिन्यू द आर्ग्यूमेंट्स ऑन मंडे एट 10 AM बेंच जो है नॉर्मली कोर्ट 10:30 खुलती है लेकिन उस दिन 10 बजे मंडे को बेंच बैठेगी और सुनवाई करेगी बिल्कुल मंगलवार 5:30 बजे पहले तक कोई कार्रवाई नहीं होगी.
Let's go across to our senior editor Pallavi Ghosh is joining us live this Saturday morning. Pallavi, the first important news point which you broke to on our channel last evening is the fact that Rahul Gandhi has reportedly told his party leaders to not go, to be a little bit lenient on Sachin Pilot, indeed giving the indication that the Congress or at least the Gandhi High Command still hopes for Sachin Pilot to come back to the camp. But given the fact that yesterday we saw the Haryana police, which serves the Manohar Lal Khattar government, actively try and stop the Rajasthan SOG from entering the Manesar resort where the pilot's camp was being held up. A lot of people believe that this once again proves the fact that there is a BJP hand behind Sachin Pilot's rebellion.
Well, the Congress party certainly would want that perception to go out. I mean, and that's why they're talking about things like the audio tape recordings allegedly showing a kind of a deal taking place between Pilot supporters and the BJP union minister. The fact that the hotel also that they were staying in and is one where BJP would often keep the MLAs to guard them. Haryana police stand off with the Rajasthan police. And, you know, now the Congress party also claims that there is monetary evidence. There's a money trail which is also taking place and how many of the MLAs have benefited, which is why it's going to be very difficult for them to go back. It's a kind of a typical carrot and stick policy really of the Congress party. It's trying to deal with many perception battles, which also makes it look so confused, Ritangshu. On the one hand, even as a CLP meeting was going on, Priyanka Gandhi Vadra reaches out to Sachin Pilot. He makes it very clear that an announcement of me as a CM has to happen soon. And you have Randeep Surjewala coming out and also saying that, you know, he's going to be removed as Deputy CM. We also have information which we got in late last evening that Rahul Gandhi still tells the party that don't target him as far as the money trail or the audio tape trail is concerned. So at one level, it's trying to battle the perception that the Gandhis leave you in the lurch, they are inaccessible. On the other level, the Congress party also wants to send out a message that anti-party activities cannot be tolerated and one cannot do without Ashok Gehlot in Rajasthan.
But once again, Pallavi, given the fact that Sachin Pilot's one consistent demand all through now is that he has to be made chief minister, which is quite impossible given how the party high command has already thrown its weight behind Ashok Gehlot. Is there any realistic hope left for the Congress to somehow try and get Sachin Pilot back? I know there are key differences from the Madhya Pradesh scenario. For instance, the rebel MLAs have not submitted their resignation yet. Also, at this point, it's not clear whether Sachin Pilot has enough numbers to bring down the government as well. So, are these factors something which the Congress is hoping to somehow try and placate Sachin Pilot?
See, it's a question of real politics also. I mean, fact is, if you listen to the statements of Ashok Gehlot, he makes it very, very clear that how there was no communication between him and Sachin Pilot. And he actually called Sachin Pilot a traitor not once, but repeatedly. I mean, the rest of the Congress party may be more guarded and nuanced in their accusations, but Gehlot doesn't mince his words. I think that is a problem which Congress party will have to deal with. You can take back Sachin Pilot, but it cannot be business as usual. Certainly not go back to Rajasthan. What does he go back as? As MLA? And I don't think Ashok Gehlot, who's given enough evidence to the Gandhis also that there is a nexus. Pilot was trying to repeatedly topple his government. He'll say, you bring him back to my state, the problem will resurface. The other option then left before Pilot is to stay back in Delhi. But as what? The Congress is not in power at the center, so the lure or a bait of a union cabinet berth is also not there. Would he really want to be just another general secretary? I mean, whenever I have spoken to sources close to him, he doesn't seem interested in that job.
All right, Pallavi, big news coming in this point with regards to the political crisis in Rajasthan at this point, and the news